Welcome to another episode of CHP Sports with Kenny to my far left. Then we have Voltron, Lego Voltron for today, and Anthony for this week.
And my Christmas tree still right there.
And Kenny's Christmas tree. Big week this week to talk about lots of fun stuff.
Crazy.
But most importantly, before we get to all that, is this will probably post on Tuesday the 11th, is that tomorrow, the 12th, from when this posts, is the big 4-0 for this guy.
Oh, nice. Happy birthday. I didn't know that.
Happy birthday to me.
Yeah.
I'm actually kind of excited about this one. This is like a big number. So it's finally
big
feeling
4-0.
old. Yeah, right?
I remember it like it was 4 years ago.
Exactly. But lots of fun stuff. I actually want to start with something close to home and give congratulations to your son, Kenny, on his wrestling tournament. Looks like he
thank you.
had a really nice tournament, got some pins, got wrestled back to third place.
Yeah, so, he's really, like, I feel like your kids surprise you a lot, right? You never know. I introduced him to wrestling. I thought, like, it was last year, right? There wasn't a lot going on, so we were trying to just keep him active. And we took him, and he kind of liked it. We didn't wrestle any matches or anything. We just took him to some practices, and he really liked it. Put him in a camp this summer. It's all he talked about for the next month. So I was like, all right, we're going to sign him up. And he's doing some good things, and he really likes it. And, he had a good tournament this weekend. He ran into a really tough kid. I feel like the kid's probably been wrestling a couple of years, probably since he's about maybe 3 years old.
Right.
So you could just tell he's not thinking about his moves. He's just doing them. And at this level, right, when they're 6, kids that can just move like that, he's impressive to watch. We've seen him at other tournaments, and he's pinned everybody, and he did it again this tournament. But Brock came back and wrestled hard, and he got his third place. So I was really proud of him. So yeah, thanks for bringing that up. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's really cool to see. And it's always good to see the proud papa moments that you get to post. So
yeah, man,
congrats to you and the family.
Yeah, he's definitely making me proud. You never know how they're going to react. Some of the kids at that age, they walk out and they cry and they run off the mat, and you just never know.
They're 6. They're 6 years old, right?
Not that there's anything wrong with that, right? It just happens. Like they're scared to death, But he seems to really enjoy it, and he likes being out on the mat, and that's probably because he's a ham and he wants to break dance the whole time. But so he really enjoys being out there, And look, I wrestled, so I know it's a tough sport, and it's not fun getting your face smeared all over the mat. It really teaches you a lot about life, that sport. So, and I've been there, and it's not a fun time, but it definitely brought me some awesome sports moments in my life too. With high school wrestling, our team was amazing, and we won state titles. Like it was fun, right? So, great sport, and I'm just glad he's now he's watching YouTube videos of guys wrestling like in college.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so it's cool. But so past wrestling, then we have tonight, right? The college football national championship.
Yeah, which is actually kicking off as we record this.
Yeah, I was going to say probably
we're watching that.
Yeah, right now it's probably happening. Quick pick, who you got and why?
I want Georgia to win. I'm hard pressed to take them after Bama did what Bama did to them, a month ago. So I guess Bama, given they have the Heisman Trophy winner and he's really good. I guess Bama.
It's tough because, sometimes, like, look, Bama had they laid an egg game, right? They lost. Was it Texas A&M beat them?
I think so.
Yeah, kind of laid an egg, one of them games. So, initially you're like, maybe Georgia laid an egg that game. They looked unreal all year. Maybe that was their game. If that is your game, Alabama is the worst team to do that to because they're going to make it look even worse because they're just so talented, right? So, but it's hard to beat a team twice in 1 year within a month, right? Or however long it's been. But God, it's so hard to just pick against Alabama. They've been there. They're so talented, and they got the Heisman. They have great offense, great defense. They always do. They'll probably have 9 guys in the first round in the draft. It's just it's what they do. So it's hard to pick against them. So I'm not going to. I think they'll win, but again, if anything goes normal this year in football, it doesn't go normal. Nothing goes normal in football. It wouldn't surprise me if Georgia did win because they're very talented as well.
Yeah.
And again, it is tough to beat that team twice in 2 years. A team that's good, or in 2 years in like a month's time. So, yeah, I go Alabama, but I wouldn't be surprised if Georgia pulled it off. I really wouldn't. So.
All right, and now through the magic of editing, since I'll edit this probably after the game, we were wrong. I can't believe Georgia pulled it off. Great job, Georgia. Bama's a great team. You can see that I just put in the proper response there.
I like it. I like it.
There you go. Let's talk about NFL playoffs because last night, so Sunday night from time of recording, I think I may have watched the greatest football game ever.
And I fell asleep.
I saw the
touchdown.
A message.
Yeah, I fell asleep. I saw the touchdown at the end of the game. I saw the highlight. And then we talked about this last week, right? So first of all, even back up to the Colts, right? All the Colts have to do is beat the Jaguars.
Oh, my God.
And they're in, right? Beat the Jags, 2-14 Jaguars, and you're in the playoffs. And, they laid an egg.
2 weeks of winning you're in, and they lost both games.
Yep. And man, they just didn't look good. It's almost like you feel like it's like fixed at that point. I just – I don't – I was kind of riding the Colts for a while now, right? I thought they were a formidable team, especially in the playoffs. Great running game, MVP candidate at running back, good defense. Wentz was just doing his job, right? Throwing when he needed to. And they looked solid to me. They had a tough schedule, right? A lot of tough games. And, man, they just came out and looked awful. And they lost, right? So now that opens up the scenario where if the Chargers and Raiders tie, they both go to the playoffs. And the Steelers, who needed 37 things to happen to get in,
oh my God,
can get in because they won their game. And then they needed I think the Patriots to lose or something, and then the Dolphins to win.
The big thing was the Colts. They needed the Colts to lose. That was like the biggest thing.
But I think like Miami had to beat the Patriots to, I don't know, some weird, I don't know. There was like 30 things that had to happen, I feel like. And then all that didn't else have to happen was the Chargers and the Raiders couldn't tie. Right? If they did, they're both in, the Chargers and the Raiders. And Pittsburgh is out. And my friend is a huge Pittsburgh fan, and I kept saying, like, yo, watch out for that. Watch out for that tie, But I never really thought it would be a thing, right? Right. So I wake up in the morning, and I see my friend texting me. He's like, yo, it was like 11 o'clock. I don't know what time it was. It's like they're tied in overtime with like, I don't know, I guess there was a couple minutes left. Yeah, like, and then I wake up and I'm like looking at SportsCenter, and all these people are like, yeah, they called a timeout they shouldn't have called, and it would have been a tie. Yeah. So insane. Like the Chargers scored with no time left, right, to tie the game in regulation.
So that let's talk about that timeout because that's come up a few places.
Okay.
So if because you didn't watch the game, but you're probably familiar with it, for anyone that's listening to this that doesn't know what happened, Chargers and Raiders, they go into overtime, they're tied. We'll talk about how they got there in a second. There's 30 seconds left on the clock. The Raiders are driving. And I think they're like the 30. I want to say they're at the 40-yard line about, because it would have been like a 57-yarder if they didn't gain any more yards for a field goal. So they're the 40-yard line. So it's a very long field goal. The clock's running. It's 40 seconds left. Tick, tick, tick. They just run a play, so it's inbounds. Tick, 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 tick. Chargers call timeout, right? And the announcers are like, why are they calling timeout? Because they're like, we think the Raiders are playing for the tie here. They're just going to be like, screw it, let's just play for the tie. And I taught today and actually talked to my students about it. And I was, I told them, I was like, my response when I saw it was, it's a prisoner's dilemma problem is exactly what it is. Because if you're confident that the person across the field from you is going to cooperate with you, then you can be sure that you don't call the timeout. You just let the play run. But if there's any doubt that they're going to call timeout with 1 second left and attempt the field goal from 57-yarder, they've got a Pro Bowl kicker who's got a rocket for a leg and has never missed in that stadium ever. You have to call the timeout to try and hope you can force them to punt if you stop it, because I think it was going to be third down.
Yeah, or maybe you get a kind of not a Hail Mary, but maybe you get a completion down to the 35 yourself, and maybe you could kick one.
Yeah, you need to try and save some time for yourself, because you can't be positive what they're going to do. And if you wait, so the thing is, like, if you wait till the last second, they call timeout with 1 second left, the Raiders, and then they kick the field goal and you lose, you look like a dope.
Yep.
Right? You're like, why? Everyone's gonna be like, why didn't you try and save time? You're like, well, I thought they were playing for the tie. So they're in a no-win situation, because if the Raiders are just going to let the clock run, basically, well, then you're like, well, why did you call timeout? You basically let them go, well, I guess they're trying to win. And on the other hand, if you don't call timeout and they call timeout and kick a last-second field goal, you're screwed. The biggest issue was they then ran off, the Raiders, the next play, the Raiders ran off tackle and gained 10, 12 yards. That was the biggest problem, is their defense.
I think it was 3rd and 9 or something like that.
Yeah, something like that. And the defense, their Chargers defense just olayed Brandon Jacobs like they had been all night. So that was the biggest issue. If they stop him there, I honestly think if Jacobs runs there for no yards, maybe the Raiders try like a 57 or 58 yarder, but also maybe they just go, hey, he's going to have to do a low angle kick there. We don't want to risk the block. Yeah, just let the time go. We're in the playoffs. Who cares?
Yeah.
So I really put it more on the fact their defense just olayed the third down run more than anything else. Because I don't blame him for calling the timeout, because he's in a no-win situation. You have to call timeout. But getting to that point, the last drive in the regulation to tie, really the last two drives by the Chargers, unbelievable. They had I think it was like 20 plays, and they were at like the 50-yard line. It was unbelievable. They completed like 4 for 5 fourth downs. I have never seen anything like it.
Herbert's amazing. I really think he's going to be the future of this league.
That last 5 minutes, he was out of his mind.
Yeah.
The throw he made, I actually thought his best throw, and he made a lot of good throws, but his best throw I actually thought was the 2-point conversion throw to Eckler, where he's rolling to his left as he's like guys are diving at his feet. He like leaps out of a tackle. As he's leaping, he throws a dart like right in front of the outstretched arm of the defender, where only Eckler can catch it in the front of the end zone for the 2-point conversion. Unbelievable, unbelievable.
He's a special talent, man. He really is.
Yeah, incredible. Hats off to the Raiders. They dominated the early part of the game. We've talked about it before. They are the team that somehow does not die.
Yeah, I'm a Broncos fan, right? So the Raiders, we hate the Raiders, right? But I can't hate on them at all this year. They've had everything thrown at them, the kitchen sink, the whole deal, and here they are. They made the playoffs. I think that's pretty awesome.
Derek Carr played well. I mean, he made a really. I remember like sometime in the fourth quarter, he made a really nice throw. He made a few, but he made one really nice one. I forget who it was too. And
he's had a solid season, really solid. He's had some big games too, some big moments where again they look down and out and they come back and win. So good, hats off to them. Probably game of the year was the last game of the year. Now what's crazy is like the night before, like you had the Eagles-Dallas game where Eagles sat all their starters, and I'm like, Dallas had half of their defense out. I'm like, how ironic is it that this is like a preseason game and they added an extra week to the season? To me, it doesn't make sense, right? Like, we added the extra week and everybody's sitting anyway. So why, right? It frustrated me, and I'm like, and then, we did have some great games Sunday because just randomly these scenarios played out. I didn't think it would get to that point, but Saturday night, I'm like, God, this stinks, right? It's like you're watching.
It was not a fun game.
Nah, you're watching third stringers play. You should have did this in the preseason. Right?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think you're ever going to get away from that because you're always going to have teams that are playing for
Yeah,
very
well,
little.
but my thing was the Eagles had a chance to improve their position still,
Yeah.
but decided not to. And to me, that's kind of like, I don't know. There's no integrity in that to me. I think you play your guys, and if you want to play scared and worry about guys getting hurt, I don't know. I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah, it
Now they're
doesn't bother
playing.
me so much.
Now they're playing Brady, so I don't know. Maybe that's what's there.
Yeah.
Again, can they win after the NFL this year? It wouldn't surprise me. But I know that I had to pick a guy I don't want to play in the playoffs. It's probably Tom Brady. I don't want to.
That guy?
Yeah, I don't want to play him. I don't want to play him.
But his record in the playoffs is so poor.
Yeah, he never does well. Even with all the turmoil they've had, right? I still don't want to play him in the playoffs. I just don't. He's just that good. I don't want to see him at all.
And he's with a coach that is quite good himself, right? It just
yeah.
It's wild. Yeah, I trying to think. I mean, that one game was so incredible. I don't really have much else to say about the weekend.
Yeah, I mean, Packers were up, and then they took their guys out and lost to Detroit. Steelers pull out their game in overtime.
Steelers, talk about a team backing their way. I mean, as a Browns fan, I am obviously completely biased.
Yeah, you don't want to see
the Steelers.
That.
No, I hate them. I was pulling hard for that tie at the end, but
I mean, and you're like rooting for the Ravens, so you don't like either.
Well, yes, and I mean, I'll be honest. I don't have any hard feelings really for the Ravens. The Steelers, though, I hate. It's Roethlisberger. How can I phrase this? Has been accused of things that I will hold against him forever.
Yeah.
And accused enough times by different places and sources where seems like a lot of smoke for there to not be some fire.
No, I hear you. I as a non AFC division, what are they in AFC North? Yeah,
we're the North.
As a guy who doesn't really, I don't want to say I don't care, but I don't have a skin in the game there, if you will. I just enjoy the fact that he's done after this year, right?
Yeah.
Like he's done. So, cool, he gets another game in the playoffs. I mean, it's a pretty cool way to go out, I guess.
It is, I will say, it is crazy that they're going to get in because of that stupid tie they had against the Lions. That was arguably the worst played game by both sides that I have ever seen.
Yeah.
And it's it's going to get them into the playoffs. Uh-oh, we have a visitor.
Brock's here. What are you doing, bud?
Brock, we'll have to edit this out so I don't put your face on the internet, man. I don't want to put little kids' faces on the internet. That's bad.
I do it all the time. It's all good. So it's such a weird year. It really is. Yeah. And I am interested in the playoffs. I think it's going to play out pretty good. I still don't know who Dallas is. I don't know what Dallas team is going to show up.
Yeah, I have no clue.
And then the Cardinals didn't look that good this week, and it's hard to tell. It really is. Obviously, Green Bay is probably the
they have to be.
Yeah, but even they haven't looked amazing at times. You know what I mean? So,
right.
It's going to be interesting. AFC, man, the Titans look tough.
They should be getting Henry back.
Yeah, and gosh, the guy they have is really good right now.
yeah, he's already. I mean, even if you put Henry, I mean, the way I'd run is, who knows how good Henry will be. So, let him come in, play a few plays here and there, and basically make him the sort of second guy. Make sure.
I don't think they would be like, hey, you're getting the ball 35 times today.
Yeah, no.
And KC is always tough. They came back and beat Denver. I wasn't surprised. Yeah. Your texts were funny. The Denver actually started playing well, running the ball, and then they Denvered it out to finish the.
Drew Lock is not a good quarterback.
No.
I shouldn't say that. He's not a good NFL quarterback. I'm sure, he would obviously as a quarterback be way better than any of us.
Yeah. I mean,
but at the NFL level, he does not do a lot for you. Let's put it that way.
And again, I don't know if schematically, it's just impossible the way they scheme their offense. I don't know if it's just, like I said, a scheme. I know he's got a great arm. Coming out in the draft, he was one of the top rated arms. Like they were comparing him to like Brett Favre and these guys that could just sling the ball everywhere. Yeah. And then he goes out and he's throwing 5-yard dump passes and screens and swings. Like I just don't understand their offense. I don't understand it. So I don't know if it's just he's not that good, or I don't know if the scheme is awful, or it's not like they don't have receivers to get open, right? They have the guys. They have the talent there. It's so bizarre. But maybe we'll find out this year.
Jerry Jeudy, who I know is good, and it's like I forget he's on the team. And then like in the third quarter, he'll like get like a little 5-yard pass. Like, oh yeah, he's on their team, right?
Yeah. He was like he was like All-American wide receiver, one of the top picks in the draft, and he gets like 2 catches a game. Like it's weird. I don't understand it. Fant, All-American tight end. Cortland Sutton, All-American in college. Like freaks. Here we are. Hey, we scored 10 points this week, and Locke threw for 112 yards, and we rushed for 100 because we have really good running backs. But, it's not going to win you games anymore in the NFL. You got to score points. So their coach got fired. So we'll see what happens with that. So today, I think that is the story today. About 4 coaches got fired.
Yeah, so, who got fired today? So, obviously, Nagy for Chicago got fired. Not surprising.
Zimmer from Minnesota.
Zimmer, which based on his record, seems surprising, but it seemed like they weren't really going anywhere the last 2 years, so I can see why they moved on.
Denver's coach got fired. And
Denver's coach not surprising.
The Dolphins coach was very bizarre to me.
They won their last 8 games.
I feel like he's a really solid coach, and really, wasn't he like coach of the year last year?
No, that was Stefanski was.
Okay, but Flores
maybe 2 years ago. Yeah,
he just had a really good turnaround there, and Tua was out a bunch. They had a tough year at quarterback, and then he comes back and rips off like 8 wins in a row to finish the year. Like weird firing there. I'm like, hey, send that guy to Denver. I like that guy.
Right.
Yeah, I'm like, give me. I was gonna say, give me Russell Wilson and give me that guy, and we're in the playoffs next year, right?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, like I'll take that guy in a heartbeat. I was really surprised about that.
Apparently I listened to some, like a talk show on YouTube or 2 today, and it sounded like it was a relationship issue. Like he did not have a good relationship with Tua or like the GM.
I heard the same thing. A lot of disagreement there, quarterback wise and stuff. I heard the same thing. So, and if that's the case, then, I get it, but man, maybe try to make it work. I don't know. Right. I feel like he's that talented. Like I feel like that's how good that guy is.
I think he'll have people wanting to hire him. So
yeah, and you see that, and then you see
Denver's a spot.
Yeah, listen, Denver's got like I think 7 or 8 guys on the list, and Bieniemy's one of them from Kansas City.
Yeah, that guy. It's about time people been started interviewing him. I feel like he's just been running that offense for years and can't get.
Yeah, I'm like, wow,
so weird.
As bad as our offense is, I'm like, give me that guy and Russell Wilson, I'm in. Or give me that, and Flores and Russell Wilson. Got to go Russell Wilson though. That's our biggest priority. But that's like my dream. I mean, Aaron Rodgers too, but I just don't think that's going to happen. So weird there. And then the Giants are like, we're keeping our guy. Which did you see what they did in their game? Did you see their quarterback sneak?
No, I did not.
So
they were the Giants. I wasn't even paying attention. I knew they were going to lose badly.
It was like 3rd and 8, and they're on like their own 5, right? So they're coming out of the end zone. So instead of running like an actual play, they ran a quarterback sneak and then punted. It was the weirdest play call I've ever seen in my entire life. Never seen that happen before in a football game. They ran a quarterback sneak. He just dove forward, and they were basically giving up the down and just the punt to get out of here. And look, 3rd string quarterback, I get it. But if you don't want to be out there and win, why are you out there? They were on their own 5 coming out of the end zone. They lined up in the wishbone almost formation, and
I'm watching it right now. I pulled it up here on the YouTube. So 2nd quarter, 3rd and 9.
Yeah, it wasn't like the end of the game. It was the 2nd quarter.
What?
like pure insanity. The announcers were like, "What is happening?"
Why not just punt on third down then?
Well, yeah, you're basically giving up the play. Just kick it. Yeah, why not? Or like at least like just drop back and throw it away. I don't know. Make it look
Yeah,
good.
or well, and also if it's your third, was it their third string QB? You said.
Yeah, it was Fromm or something. Jake Fromm.
Why would you want him to get hurt on
I
such a
don't
play?
know.
Like,
Why are you
give it
running
to
him up the
your
middle?
running back.
Yeah, just hand it off and hope for the best. At least make it look good. I mean,
Yeah,
I
at
was
least.
just,
All right.
I
Yeah.
just don't understand. I really don't.
How does Joe Judge? So Joe Judge didn't get fired.
No,
How
I
is that
saw a thing
possible?
come out and it said it's sounding like the Giants are going to be keeping Joe Judge
He's terrible.
after that season. That's the guy.
I shouldn't say he's terrible because everyone has times where they're not doing the best at their job or they're overwhelmed. So
Yeah,
I don't think they performed in a manner that would give you the impression that he should keep his job in this situation. Let's put it that way.
yeah,
Right, especially the way they finished, like it wasn't even like the last game or two where they were like bad, where the team's kind of given up because there's no hope. Like, okay, but you look at Detroit. Detroit fought hard all 17 games, right? The Browns at least played well the last game, not against the Steelers. But the Browns at least played well the last game. They had nothing to play
yeah.
for.
I was going to bring that up. They come back and beat the Bengals, who have looked incredible the last.
And
few
the Bengals sat some of their main guys,
Yeah.
but still, it was. We
Yeah,
can say we beat them twice this year, which is nice.
But even like the Jags, right? They didn't give up.
Yeah, Jags fought hard.
They had the biggest win of the year that made the playoffs turn into chaos, right?
So to me, that's the biggest incrimination of Joe Judge as a coach is his team gave up 6 weeks ago.
They packed it in.
They stopped playing. Yeah.
They beat the Eagles. I think that was their last win, and the Eagles' last loss in a while. They beat the Eagles, and then just that was it. They packed it in. That was weird way to end the year. They need a quarterback. They need Green. What's his name? Danny Dimes. I can't remember his last name.
Daniel
Jones. Is it Jones?
No. Yeah, Daniel Jones.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. Daniel Jones. Out of Duke.
Yeah. They drafted a guy out of Duke, quarterback. Yeah, that was a weird pick to me. If he was a basketball player, all right, it would make more sense. I mean, how many guys do you know coming out of Duke for football?
As a Duke alumnus, I know a few, but
yeah, but you know what I'm saying. It's not like Alabama or It was like when the Sixers drafted Fultz out of Washington. I'm like, Washington? Is that a big basketball school? It didn't make any sense to me. When they had guys that were from Duke or North Carolina or the actual good basketball schools that play really tough competition all the time, not in the Pac-12. They had UCLA and all them guys back in the day, but Pac-12's been down in basketball. So I don't know, man. Weird pick, and it hasn't worked out, and he was hurt most of the year.
No, it hasn't.
You think
he's one of those guys? He's one of those to me, I see him as a bottom third NFL QB, like a really solid backup, or
a really good backup. Yeah,
or someone that can win you some. I think he can win you 6 games and not lose you 3.
Yeah,
if that makes sense.
Had
I could see him getting you an 9-8 record maybe.
If he had a really elite or all-time defense with a great running back, maybe
a playoff berth.
Maybe he's a 10-win, 11-win guy, maybe, right? Just don't mess up. Just do the right things. That kind of guy. But
heck of an athlete, dude's a phenomenal athlete.
Yes, and look, that's no shade against him. I've seen what he can do. He's had flashes where he looks great, and I know he was a good.
Just doesn't have the consistency.
Yeah,
just doesn't have the consistency.
And then, but again, it comes back to is it the offense? Is it the scheme? Does his line stink? There's a lot of factors that play into it, and some guys do flourish in the right situations. So maybe he needs a new scene, and it's just not. They're talking about they're going to pick that Pickett guy. Is he from Pitt? I think.
Yeah, I think so.
The quarterback from Pitt. So
I think he's the top-rated guy.
It's going to be an interesting offseason. Hopefully one that improves for the Broncos. I feel like it's been a while since we've been relevant. So,
all right, there's two other topics I want to touch on. So before we get to those two, let's do our picks for this upcoming wild card weekend. So we have 3 days of football, 6 games. Starts on Saturday, 4:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Las Vegas at Cincy. Give me Who Dey Nation.
Yeah, I think Mr. Burrows, it's going to be a big run for him this year. We'll see.
Yeah, Mr. Burrows smokes a cigar after this one.
Yeah, I think, you said the Raiders are scrappy as hell. And probably the team I don't want to play if I'm in the playoffs just because of the way they fight. But I think the Bengals have too much on offense right now.
I can see both teams coming out a little flat, but I can see sort of Cincy by second quarter, since they rested some guys this week, sort of hitting a rhythm, and Vegas coming out after the long
fight.
game. Yeah, the dog fight coming out, just not having it that extra gear not being there this weekend.
You got to get tired eventually.
Late game Saturday is a good one. New England at Buffalo. New England beat them earlier this year in that Snow Bowl where they threw 3 passes. I'm assuming it's not a Snow Bowl again. Give me Buffalo at home.
Yeah. I want to say Buffalo at home too. And I think they have the better quarterback. Running game, though, I think New England has a little bit of advantage there. And they got Bill Belichick. So,
the ultimate equalizer.
Yeah, it's hard to pick against that guy. It really is. But man, tough place to go and win in Buffalo. So I got to pick Buffalo. But look, if the Patriots win, I'm not going to fall off my chair. I'm not going to be surprised.
Yeah, I won't either. Yeah, but I imagine that the fans will be particularly raucous this Saturday.
It's a crazy place up there. They'll be jumping on the tables and flipping off cars. They're a wild bunch up there in Buffalo.
Sunday, triple header. Starts with Philadelphia at Tampa Bay. I mean, how do you not take Tampa Tom here?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to pick against Tom. You got to go with Tom there. Eagles has had a nice finish to the year. So we'll see, but I think Tampa wins there.
San Fran at Dallas.
Interesting game as well.
Yeah, I be honest, I don't really know who to pick. What's the line?
I don't know. It's so tough with Dallas because they have flashes where they look really good.
Yeah, and then they look horrid.
Yeah, and sometimes they look lost. Like Dak looks like an all-pro 1 week, and then sometimes he looks – I don't know what the line is here. I'm not seeing anything.
Cowboys minus 3.5 is what I have on Yahoo Sports.
Which sounds about right.
Yeah, that's probably what I would put it.
Right.
Give me San Fran to not only cover but to win outright.
So that's your upset pick of the week.
This is my upset special here. I think of the upsets, this is the one. I think Jimmy G looked pretty good this past weekend. They can run the ball. Deebo Samuel is something special.
He's tough,
when
man.
he gets the ball, it's like I feel like I'm on the edge of my seat waiting to see what he's going to do because he's just so electrifying.
Yeah.
So, yeah, give me the 49ers here.
I'm going to pick Dallas only because I'm going to say they put it together this week. We'll see, though. Again, wouldn't be surprised if they lose. It wouldn't surprise me at all. So, but I'm picking
the late night Sunday game. Pittsburgh travels to Kansas City. The line, at least on Yahoo Sports right now, is Chiefs minus 12.5. Give me Chiefs straight up, and Chiefs I think actually cover. I think this is a drubbing, to be honest.
Yeah, I think the Chiefs win pretty easily. It wouldn't surprise me, like you said, if it was a blowout. So they maybe like a 40-20 type scenario, something like that.
Yeah, something like that. And then our last game on Monday night, because the NFL doesn't want teams to have rest in the playoffs, apparently, is I mean, I'm going to enjoy it as a fan, but as a
This
player,
has to be the first. This has to be the first Monday night game ever, right?
Yes, for playoffs. Yes,
For playoff,
it
and
is.
I'm like, this is bizarre, and it's a bizarre matchup to me because they're in the same division.
It's weird.
Like, why did that happen? I feel like
it's weird.
Like, I almost feel like, but I guess then who would they play? Because it's either Tampa, Packers. Yeah, it's weird that I thought they always tried to avoid that, the same division team playing each other in the first round.
Yeah.
But I guess it's
I mean,
just
same thing happened. Same thing happened last year with the Browns and the Steelers. We played 2 weeks in a row. We played the last game of the regular season, then we played the first game of the playoffs.
Right. That's right. And I think if they would have won, then the Rams would have been 11-6, and the Cardinals would have been 12-5. Because didn't they just play last week, right? Was that the game last week?
Yeah, maybe.
Hold on. No. Cardinals lost to the Seahawks. So if they would have beat the Seahawks, they wouldn't be in this situation in the first place. And the Rams lost to the 49ers. That's why it happened. So
we have
who
the line is Rams minus 4.5 is the line. It's in Los Angeles. So watching that game, I did watch some of the game this weekend with the Rams and the 49ers. There are a lot of 49ers fans in those stands.
Yeah, that was crazy.
I don't know how much Cardinals fans travel. I would expect to see more Rams fans this week. I think they're pretty up for it. I think their team, arguably, I think it was a really close game against the 49ers. 49ers had to pull some stuff out. So I'm going to say Rams. I think the Rams win. Do I think they cover 4.5? No, yeah. I think they win by a field goal.
So here's what I think. I think the 49ers were the desperate team this past week, right? I think, and the Rams went up early and it looked like they were going to beat them. And then, man, the 49ers came back. God, the Rams have so much talent. I feel like the Cardinals have been kind of beat up from injuries, right? And they haven't settled back into where they were earlier in the year where they were dominating. But, man, if they put it together, they're a pretty good team too. So, yeah, I think it's close. And, Rams maybe by, 3 to 6 points, somewhere's in there, close game. So,
there you go.
Yeah.
All right.
Interesting week.
Two other things I want to touch on very quickly from the last week. The one is one of the most impressive things I've ever seen. Did you see that block shot by Ja Morant where he basically hit half of his head on the backboard?
Yeah, he is a freak at this point. Yeah.
How does one jump so high?
I don't know. He's got to be an MVP candidate this year at this point. Yeah.
I think I saw a freeze frame of it. And I'm like, wait, what is this? So I clicked on the YouTube, video.
Yeah.
And I couldn't stop watching it because I couldn't get over what he did.
And he's not that tall. Like, it's not like he's like, I remember Vince Carter did something like that where he jumped up and like hit his head. I think it was Vince Carter. He like hit his head fully on the backboard because he was so high. Like he went up, same thing of like a block shot. And so, yeah.
I think what was most impressive about it was it's one thing if like someone's doing it as like a demonstration, like, oh, look at me hit my head. It was the fact that he wasn't part of it. He was just trying to block the shot.
He was just playing. Yeah.
Jumped so high and so like his lateral movement was so far. It wasn't like he jumped straight up. It was like a lot of lateral movement as well. It was one of the most incredible physical feats I've ever seen. Like it was amazing.
Yeah. Another one that comes to mind, I don't know if you remember when Zion jumped from like the free throw lane out to the 3-point line to block a 3-pointer.
I think I vaguely remember that. Yeah.
I'm going to send you that video after this. And I mean, both are amazing. Like for me, Zion, it's because he's such a large human, right?
Yeah.
Like, how does he jump that high? He's like 290 pounds. I don't understand. It makes no sense to like the laws of gravity. Like Morant, he's a lean guy. He's just got crazy hops, right? He can just jump out of the building. Yeah. But Zion is like 6'10", and he's 290 pounds. Like, how does he jump that high? I don't understand it. Makes no sense. So yeah, they're two of the craziest jump. That was an amazing play by Morant, and they have the best record in the league in the last month or so. I think through December they were the hottest team. So they're playing tough. But what was the other thing? That was pretty crazy.
The other thing is, I figure we should touch on this is Dave Castro getting fired from CrossFit. I don't follow the CrossFit as closely, obviously, as you do. Obviously, I know someone that works pretty high up there, former client that we've had on the podcast, Heather. And I did message her. She said, they'll be fine as a company, and her unit.
Yeah, she works,
but as a person, she
works.
She says it's hard
in the games, right? That's like her thing, right?
Yeah, she helps win the games.
And
so she was friends with him. So she like
that's what I was gonna say. She was probably tight with him. Yeah, it was shocking to me. Like, and
it seemed to me it's like there's someone that's not deeply embedded in the CrossFit community. It seemed like it came kind of out of the blue. Like I know they like CrossFit like had new CEO or whatever and whatnot, and you want people when that happens, you tend to bring in your own people and whatnot.
Yeah,
but still, Dave Castro is like so associated with CrossFit and so embedded in the culture. It did seem pretty shocking to me.
It would be like I was trying to think of a comparison. Like, imagine like kicking Babe Ruth out of baseball in his prime, right? Like, it doesn't really make sense. Like the guy created the CrossFit Games. Like there wouldn't be CrossFit Games without him. And look, there's always two sides, right? You don't know exactly what went down, but the way it sounded was like they were trying to make him seem like it was amicable, and he won. And he's like, "No, I'm not saying that. Like, he doesn't want to leave." He said he hadn't even talked to Rosa in like 3 months, right? And then all of a sudden he got a call like, "Hey, you're getting fired." Like, so it was pretty weird. Dave did post a picture of Glassman a couple weeks back. Maybe that played into it. Kind of like, "Hey, man, look, we know he messed up, but I'm still friends with him, and he's still my guy, and he still created CrossFit." Kind of like that kind of post. So I don't know if that played into it.
Right.
It could have. And then he does post like hunting pictures, and people are very offended by the hunting pictures. I don't know if that had anything to do with it. The guy's a Navy SEAL. Like, he hunts. It doesn't bother me at all. Like, I live in the woods. People hunt out here all the time. But, it just, I don't know if that, CrossFit is trying to be a little more, I don't know the
neutral.
Word. Yeah. I don't know. But, man, and I'm friends with a lot of people that are on staff and, within the CrossFit world, and they are all just like, this sucks. Like, we miss Dave, So it couldn't have been good for morale, I guess. And it doesn't really make sense to me. He just was finishing up making the workouts for the Open. And then they got, the Open's not even 2 months away, right? And then they got rid of it. Yeah, another month or two. So, yeah, very, very strange. But, I don't know if anything happened. Behind the scenes, we don't know. You never know the full story. But just seemed like a weird timing to me through the whole thing. Yeah. Just kind of came out of nowhere. So we'll see what happens. But it'll never be the same without Dave there. Like, and look, he comes off as like, snarky, arrogant-ish kind of guy when he's putting out his workouts, and people hate him because of his workouts and stuff. But that's the persona of it. And every story you see about him behind the scenes, it says how he pushed everybody to be their best, and he was caring, and he was a good leader. And I mean, look what he did. He ran some amazing events, and it doesn't surprise me as a Navy SEAL. It's not the easiest of things to do in the world, right? So, but we'll see what happens. I don't think he's going anywhere. I think he'll be involved in some fitness at some point. People are like, "Hey, the Rogue CrossFit Games are coming." Who knows? I mean, you never know.
Yeah, I mean, Rogue, I'm sure. I mean, so the issue is like, I'm sure he'll have. I mean, I hope he'll have opportunities. It's never good when someone loses their job.
No.
So I'm hopeful he'll have opportunities. I would expect him to have opportunities.
Yeah,
it'll be interesting to see if they intersect with CrossFit proper.
Yeah, I think he was really tight with Rogue. They're still like selling his shirt, like all this kind of stuff. So it wouldn't surprise me if something happened there. Yeah, it really wouldn't. Maybe they start their own kind of games. Branch. Maybe there's two types of fitness sport games. who knows? We'll see. It's all up in the air now. We'll see. We'll wait and see what happens. It's some interesting drama, if you will. So
yeah, for sure.
last
All
thing I
right,
want to
everyone.
say though,
Yeah.
Klay Thompson's back on the Warriors.
He is. He was nice enough to come back and beat the Cleveland Cavs, the dick.
Yeah, and I'm big on the Cavs this year. I think they're a tough team.
Yeah, no, they'll be good. Yeah, no,
But,
it's really good to see him back after so long being out with freak injuries, just bad luck and just bad
20
timing.
years ago, he's done for the rest of his career, right? So freaky injuries, two devastating injuries. It was great to see him play, out on the court because you can tell he just loves basketball, right? So I watched the game. It was last night, right? Yeah.
Yeah, Sunday.
Yeah. I think I was watching that, and then I was falling asleep, and I was going to flip on the football game, and then I fell asleep. That was it. But yeah, good game. Cleveland actually came back towards the end and made it a game. But so yeah, I just wanted to mention that. But Cleveland looks good this year, man.
Yeah. I haven't been able. They don't show them too much here down in Columbus for whatever reason because they have usually Blue Jackets are playing, and I don't know.
They're probably gonna have Rookie of the Year though.
Yeah. So cool stuff. So those of you out there, thanks for watching. Like, subscribe. Also, quick plug: Ariana Scalfo and myself are doing a group coaching thing for off-season training. So that sign up, I'll put the sign up for that below, the link for that. It starts this coming Monday, the 17th of January. So if you're interested in group coaching and getting some support for keeping yourself on track, it's template based, but it'll have sort of different levels for sort of, if you have a lot of time, a little time, moderate time, and you can sort of pick and choose what you want to do. And you'll have the support of Ariana and I, and weekly calls, all that good stuff. So link for that below. Kenny, thanks for coming on.
Yeah, man. My pleasure.
We should see you all next week with a rundown of what happened in Wild Card Weekend, or at least everything but the Monday night game, I guess.
Yeah.
And we'll make our picks for the following week.
Yes,
Peace out, everyone.
See you.